Hey guys, welcome back to Let's Play Chrono Cross. Last time we trapped a bunch of awesome new summon elements, and now we're finally into the Dead Sea for real. We took on the first of these little mini areas, and well, let's move on to the city ruins. Over here, we've got a resistance belt, and this guy. Anyway, this area, it's supposed to be frozen waves, but if you look at it, it almost looks like snow. It's kind of weird. Sneak by you. And we get some hidden kung fu shoes. I'm pretty sure we've had access to those for quite a while, but I could be wrong. Oh no, this just approves evade again. Yay for evade things that I don't really use. The resistance belts, got two of them now, just decreases the time status effects last. Why do I have a Dragoon Gauntlet in my inventory? Right. I'm trying specifically not to build up the physical attack power too much of my side characters, because I want them to be able to hit the enemies a bunch of times to build up for summons. That and Lynx is going to do physical attacks to kill anything that needs to be killed. Now up here, there's a room. Now I said a couple episodes back when we first came in here, this is where the game gets good. Let's grab an Earring of Light. I don't recall off the top of my head what that does. Let's find out. I highly recommend I highly would suspect that doesn't work since all the other ones don't work either. But it's there. Now, if you have him in your party, a certain character will have an automatic sequence here. If he's not in the party, then Norris will show up here anyway, and the scene plays out just the same. So many strange things. Power source is still active. I have knowledge of electrical engineering. Well, he was in the military. He could have had a number of different backgrounds. I guess with his commander role, he was into electrical engineering. Though, doesn't change the fact that the anachronism of him being able to operate whatever this is doesn't really make sense considering kind of the general timeline that we seem to be at. It's a little over 1000 AD. If you remember Chrono Trigger, there wasn't a whole lot of computer technology except for Luca for some reason, which was also anachronistic. Oh, I don't really have a problem with it, it's just something weird to point out. But yeah, this is a giant computer. Or at least that's what it sounds like. The monitor should be able to display some information. I've seen that image before. 2380. Wait a minute now. That hasn't happened yet. Unknown life's force, parasitic to the planet. Geological stratum results 65 million BC. Ode Lavos. As a kid, coming here for the first time and seeing the first real solid connection to my favorite game of all time, I was over the moon. This game finally brought everything forward. Like, there's little teases throughout, you know, mentioning of Guardia and mentioning of Poor, but there's not a whole lot that kind of drives us back. This was the first big one for me. I recruited Razlie on my first playthrough because I decided to save Kid. So I didn't get that fantastic sequence with her. And so the only kind of reference back to Chrono Trigger I had seen was just when she had mentioned, or when Evil Surge had mentioned Luca's name, and we still have no idea what that means yet. Apparently, these ruins are from the future. Now, if you recall, I mentioned that we had spoken to the Sage of Marbule, and he had told us, at least in another world he told us, that the time either stops or it works backwards here. Interesting. Now, question me this. Depending, like, this is a generic line that anyone can say. Very few of the characters we have should know what the term download even means. It's one of the quirks of having so many characters, a lot of dialogue. Like in this case, Norris is required for this. You have to have him before you can get here anyway, because you need him to get the boat. And I don't believe you can refuse him, to be quite honest. I think he joins automatically. Pretty sure he does. But yeah, a lot of these characters and their generic lines of dialogue don't mean all that much because it's not something that they would even say, at least if you look at who their characters are. But yeah, that image. A Lavos spawn, slumbering deep beneath the crust. When Lavos awakens, the planet will... well... symbolism. Power supply has gone out. We will not be able to gather further information. So close to learning about Lavos. And now we must move on. I could have come here at the tail end of the last episode and done a pretty cool looking cliffhanger, at least I think here. But I wanted more time to react properly to that scene. I could have rushed through it, but I'd much rather just let that scene play out. That was a big one for me when I was a kid. It changed a lot. Please don't get stuck. I don't want to fight you. Alright, there is another item before we finish off. Oh, you're guarding it. Stamina ring. Fine, I'll fight you because you were guarding it. I'll make it seem as though you were important. No, you're not. Yeah, both the Roboducky and the Geos enemies, they both show up in battle alone. If not every time, then almost every time. And it's kind of weird because as single enemies, neither of them are particularly challenging to fight. They fall down really fast. Even without powerful elements, you can buy photon beams. It's not like they're hard to come by. Yeah, the atmosphere here, I'll keep saying it until I'm blue in the face. It's phenomenal. The music does a great job of adding to it, but it's always been great. I just wish the music would play through battle. I've walked through that enemy. Anyway, we have a new enemy here. This one always shows up in groups of 4. This is a gremlin. The gremlin isn't anything really to worry about. We're going to Eagle Eye Janice. I believe these guys can inflict poison, but other than that, they don't do much else. And we'll smack you with that. And we'll smack another one. And we'll turn on fast forward because they attack really slow. Yeah. So they're going to inflict a lot of green. One of the interesting things about how that's set up is because Van is also green. If you decide to just do a bunch of chip damage to them, you can use him to do his summon really easily because they'll basically set it up for you. And in this case, they've already set it up. So you know what? Sure, we will use you. I'm going to do a little more chip damage to this one here. Don't think I need to do too much. It's not like they're going to change the field effect to something else, so it's not like I'm worried about it, but I think that should be enough. Because you're dealing with the same element, you're not going to get a massive amount of damage. But since they build up the field effect, as long as you've done a little bit of chip damage, what I like to do typically in these fights, if I'm going to use this one, yeah, there you go, more than enough damage, is I like to use Eagle Eye on Van, and then use 2 Fierce attacks, which will target all enemies because he uses a boomerang. And that's usually enough damage to just cast Sonya right after that, and then you're good to go. But those enemies, I specifically, every time I fight them, I use a summon to kill them, because it always comes in groups of 4, and if you leave and come back, I believe they respawn. So you can farm them again if you need to. Here we will try and do Janice this time around. I guess I probably didn't need the Eagle Eye since Red was already on the field, but too late to do anything about it now. Here, it doesn't really matter. I don't think I need to switch targets. The only reason I do that is just so that I don't kill the enemy, because I never want to kill the enemy when I'm trying to build up for a summon, because then I'd get less of the rewards in the end. Alright. So yeah, you do an attack like that, do 2 of those, and that's enough damage to take things out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to guard here real quick. And one more Toxic Breath off. I think that's all 4 of them have gone now. So now we will just strengthen, doesn't matter, just get all the red effects in play. Or you can get a turn right away and interrupt that, that's fine too. Usually when you want to start building up an element field, you want to start with the character who's going to cast the summon element and have a full stamina gauge prior to, because that puts you at 0. And that will then allow you to get another turn in before, without having to guard or anything like that. Alright, so here, this is why I put extra red on some of my characters, just so that I would have the ability to do that. See, in this case, now all we got to do is a single attack here, and now we're back up to being able to use Red Wolf. I could also allocate it down further if I wanted to, but that's up to you. And I think all summons, target all enemies, or in the case of Unicorn, target all allies. So you have access to that, and more poison. Yeah, those guys will repeatedly put you in poison over and over and over again, so just kind of be aware of that. Here, at last, the Tower of Geddon. Well, it is indeed the center. All this chaos must have spread out from here. For whatever reason, that broken fan and just kind of this general art style, it reminds me of 2 different things. It reminds me, like that fan reminds me of Final Fantasy VIII for some reason. It might be Fisherman's Horizon, just because there's a lot of rust in that area. The 2 large protruding parts of the structure of whatever it is on the left and the right kind of reminds me of Final Fantasy VII in a sense. Some of the structures in Midgar, especially with the text there, it just kind of gives me that same vibe. Not sure why. Buildings seem to have melted into one giant conglomeration. I had to think in my head how to pronounce that word. Maybe it's not Fisherman's Horizon. Maybe it's underneath Valum Garden that I see that image in my head from Final Fantasy VIII from. We have a new enemy here. This one is interesting. I just need to pull down my map a little bit so I can see. Mana Queen. If you defend, you will find out very quickly that these guys do nothing. This is a very easy way of building up your elements so that you can cast whatever the bloody hell you want. In this case, since we've already shown off a bunch of other things, I'm going, and since there's black on the field there, I will demonstrate in this battle. I will demonstrate Mothership, just because it happens to be here. We'll cast this on you. Can't remember if these things ever do anything, or if they just stand still and like no counters or anything like that. I don't think they counter. Element. Genius. Might as well get as much damage as we can out of this. The Mana Queens have a rare Inferno drop if you're into that, but here we go. Mothership. There we go. Very nice damage, but then again, we did have Genius going, so a little more than we would have normally. And we get Shiny Soot, which is the black one. I guess that kind of makes sense, though I could also see that one being the red one. But of course, the red one was a Shiny Ember, so it wasn't going to be that. You're not going to have a chance of getting those rare Inferno drops if you're always killing them thusly, but that's fine. Now, this area, as you can see, is a little bit confusing in its layout because there's multiple floors that can all be seen from the same place here. And where are all the items on this floor? I know that there are a bunch of them, and some of them are difficult to find because of just kind of the nature of how this area is organized. This way. Sure, we'll come here for now. Well, I guess we'll have to fight him. Oh? Must go. You will miss the train. These people? Where are you going? It's nice to hear a variation on the Chrono Trigger sound effect. There's something on the ground. A station pass. Now, I believe in the PlayStation there was something actually visible instead of a sound effect, but I could be wrong. Anyway, we got a station pass. I guess that will be useful at some point. We get a Purify element. Now, we can't make it up that tube over there. But if we want to, we can go down it. In order to get past here, you need that station pass. And a Holy Light element. You don't have one already. You do now. Whee! Slide. There's a couple items over there. Go back over here and do a little more exploring. Okay, the Mana Queens do eventually attack you. I believe only as a counter, though. And as a counter, they don't do a lot of damage. I'm just racking up all the shiny materials right now. Alright, let's go all the way over here and pick up a Lowly Feather. We'll backtrack, and actually I believe I missed something over here. So let's head back over here real quick. And I will not be able to fast forward my way up here. That isn't going to work particularly well. Forgot to go through the doorway. I always assume that this is the right way because in a sense it is, but it doesn't give you access to the right way. And this contains the medical book. This is a key item. I think this teaches a level 7 tech, if I remember correctly. Nothing else over there for now. Nothing else from this side, actually. So let's back out of here. And now let's hit the top floor here. Okay, finished off more of the same. Get some more shiny materials and a piece of mithril. Alright. Do a little backtracking. That's more backtracking than I needed to do. I would like to go over here, actually. Doesn't seem to be anything there. Now, over here, there is a button. Now, if you notice inside the taller of the blue tubes there's actually a treasure chest. We want to send it down to floor number 1, since floor number 2 and floor number 3 are blocked off. And now we need to head back down. How did those guys respawn? This one respawned too. Oh well. And we get a trashy tiara, which I don't think has any real use. I'll clear these guys out. I've now got all of the shiny embers, the red elemental things that I wanted. And what have we here? We have some strange looking enemies around here. Huh. A blonde child in a white dress. Pigtail. That's interesting. Oh, apparently I'm a ghost, so I see other ghosts. Makes sense. No one else can see it. Nothing will surprise me here. Let's keep going. Now, over here, I need to go up there first. I guess we're fighting this first. This is scary. These are called Tragedy Ann. And, damn it, took me way longer than it should have to figure out how to actually pronounce their name. Basically, they each have a specialty. And it's random which ones you get. The important bit is that one of them can cast Black Hole, and if you recall, Black Hole has a chance of instant death. They don't simply spam their ability, but they do hit it relatively often. Tornado is actually what I want to trap while I'm here, but I need to find a save point first because it's been a while since I saved, and if I get hit with Black Hole and get really unlucky and get an instant death, it's game over. So I'm actually going to run away for the moment. The only one that didn't hit me was the instant death one, which is nice. Can I sneak by you there? Thank you. I am going to go find a save point before we tackle these guys. But I do want to eventually farm all the tornadoes that I can. Can you please not be in the way? Okay, they wouldn't get out of the way and they kept cornering me in, so I eventually had to fight them. I just kept reloading the fight until they didn't have access to Black Hole because it's random which ones they'll have in any given fight. I don't think there's any strategy toward fixing which ones they have. They can still almost kill you. They're some of the hardest normal enemies in the entire game because they regularly spam things like Volcano, as you saw, Tornado, which I trapped one of in that previous fight, and also, obviously, Black Hole. Now, we've already had access to both Black Hole and Volcano, so if you didn't trap them earlier in the game via the Couscous method, you can do it here. It's a little more dangerous here, but that's entirely up to you. I would recommend avoiding fighting them for a little while. Am I healed up? I am. Because, like I said, a bit of bad luck, and they can instant death you, and that's it. You have to go back to whenever the last time you saved. I do not... I will tell you straight up that I spent a decent amount of time using save states in my test run to avoid bad times with these guys. So there's a Cure Plus. And was there an item in here? I always think there's an item in the tree, but I guess not. And over here, we get a prop sword. This is useful if you've recruited Pierre, but I won't be able to show off what it does until New Game Plus. Oh, you're in the way. Let's go and grab that chest before you go and block it off again. A heal all. Nice. And sneak through. Ooh. Distorted reality kind of weirdness going on here. I will go back and I will demonstrate an actual fight with them once we find a save point. There's another little kid. This one's got red hair, purple hair. Yeah, we're inside a building. Why is there this big, giant something? Almost looks like it's some kind of an engine, like some kind of a ship. I believe... I'm trying to remember which way leads to the treasure and which way does not. Pretty sure... Oh no, that's the way forward. I don't want to go that way. Don't want to go that way. This way is the treasure chest. Okay, there's Sealall. So the purple one is the way forward. This one... Where does this one lead? This lead to a treasure chest that I'm forgetting? It wouldn't be the first time I forgot something. Like, I've played this game a number of... Oh, it's not? Oh, there's the Mithril. Right, there's a treasure chest up there. Okay. Yeah, there's certain parts of this area that I think are longer than they are, that I forget where some of the items are. Every time I play it for some reason. I'm not sure why. I guess in my head, the entire point of this area is all about that, you know, the connection that we saw earlier. What does this mean? Wait a minute. I know that hair. In Homeworld, General Viper and his dragoons are missing. I still know that hair. Three children. One of them familiar. Are the others familiar too? So we have Zoa, General Viper. I think this is supposed to be a random dragoon. This was originally so low bitrate that even if you do upscaling and the remaster and all that stuff, it's still hard to pick out who's here. This is Riddell, and here is Glenn. And then, of course, Marcy and Karsh. Now, where is... There's the path. believe the rest of the sprites are all just indiscriminate dragoons. And probably the best placed element in the game, and you will find out why. Through mysterious wormhole. Wait a minute, weren't we just in a building? Dimension itself is more unstable here than elsewhere. Time and space within a structure completely different from anywhere else. You shouldn't know all that much about temporal mechanics there, Janice. I'm sorry, you're just a random bunny girl. Anyway, the distortion is still up. There's our save point. Let's go back and fight those tragedy ants. And we're back, and we've got Tornado to show up. As I said, they're random. I'm gonna leave fast forward on through most of the fight here. You'll also notice that I've brought Sprig along. I brought Sprig along to make sure to kill one of these guys, because if you ever want to get access to all the different spells, if you ever want to farm more, as long as you have access to Sprig being able to doppelgang them, then you have access to Black Hole, Volcano, and Tornado. I also need to capture 2 more volcanoes while I'm here. And yeah, so let's get to work here. Let's build up a little bit of element power on some people here. Get through another volcano, which is going to do some damage. And we're going to need to heal a little bit already. Get another hit in, and I'm going to go for the recover all instead of the heal all. You'll find out why in a moment. Let's do that first. Let's have Sprig attack a little bit here. And let's get Janice back to work here. That tornado trap up for later. I believe they're able to use their ability more than once, so I've seen it. I'm not sure if they'll use it again if it gets captured. That I'm not 100% sure. And let's get a little more stamina, or whatever it is, the element levels. That's the word I'm looking for. Get a few of those set up here so that I have access to them. And now we're kind of waiting. Now, sadly, I don't know which one casts Tornado, so it's not like I can get rid of some of them in the meantime. But eventually I will want Sprig to kill one. So there's Tornado. So there I've got Trap, there's Volcano. Please don't kill Sprig, please don't kill Sprig, please don't kill Sprig, thank you. Okay. Let's get Heal All going now. And let's do another Heal All now. And Poison Gas. Well, you got a turn. I was hoping you wouldn't, but that worked out. And I threw Sonia onto Sprig to make this a little bit easier. Kill 2 birds with 1 stone. And not only do we get the kill for these guys with Sprig, but we also get our shiny materials, and I think that's me done on the green ones too. And Sprig got her mini star up there from before. Now I just need to trap 1 more tornado element. I am almost out of antidotes. Should probably buy some more of those. Anyway, I'm going to capture my last one, and then I will meet you back at the save point there. Basically, the way of dealing with them, they all have their own special ability. Their normal attacks aren't much to deal with, so as long as you can beat them up at just a little bit with a few elements, you should be fine. Just make sure, like, Diminish is probably a good idea for this fight, to be quite honest. Just anytime they've got Black Hole, run away unless you've saved recently. It's just not worth it. Couple more things I want to do before the end of the episode here today. One of them involves these three. 3 kids. A blonde, purple hair, and red hair. Hellbound element. And up here, another of the dress things that I'll basically never use. Let's take a quick look here at some of those since we have a female in the party. They say for female use only, but if you look at them, they're all trash. Like, this one finally has 1 stat better than Mithril Mail, which we've been able to buy for a long time now. It's not good. It's just not. Like, I guess this one is technically better, but only for a few moments before we get the ability to buy the next upgrade, which is coming up relatively shortly. I don't care for any of those. There's also the all the different tiaras that you get in the game. None of those are worthwhile using as far as I know either. They say increases defense against magic, but it doesn't actually affect your stats at all, because your magic defense actually goes down over a normal helmet, so I don't know why you would equip any of them. And there. This is the Enertron. Get a full night's sleep in a few seconds. Will you rest in the Enertron? I was so stoked to see this the first time I played the game. Brilliant callback to the first game, and it's even complete. HP restored, status abnormalities removed, but you're still hungry. I love it. The little love letter hints that they threw in there to the original game, it's just brilliant, especially throughout this area. I won't say too much more, considering, well, we'll eventually figure it out. And I don't want to spoil things. Anyway, that's pretty much all the time we have for today. We got the tornadoes, we got all the items that we could get in here. There's 16 of them, there's quite a few. We had Sprig kill a Tragedy Ann, which gives us access to that for later if we want to. All the references back to Chrono Trigger. I love this area. The music is just haunting and ominous. Can't say enough good things about this area. Next time, we will make our way to the end of the Tower of Geddon. Anyway, all for this one. And I'll see you guys next time.